Calgary Flames and this whole Dylan Cozens. I mean, you kind of talked about it, I guess, last week, but we're now a week away, and very curious what's going to happen with Kevyn Adams and Buffalo. Because you look at, Frank Seravalli brought out his list of possible trade targets. There's Bowen Byram and JJ Paterk is on there now, and Alex Tuch and Dylan Cozens, and Jack Quinn is there. Is there anybody that's not on the potentially on the block in Buffalo? What does your senses tell you about the Sabres? Because they could be a very busy team on Friday if they choose to be.
Yeah, like why aren't we going after Owen Power or Rasmus Dahlin? I mean, go down the list, right? And I think that's a position that Kevyn Adams and the Buffalo Sabres have put themselves in over year after year after year of futility, right? So you can't just close the door every time somebody makes a call or a gesture. But in the exchange that I had yesterday with Kevin, I mean, there's lots of interest around Dylan Cozens, as you'd expect, as there should be. Less around Bo Byram, but I think that just means that teams don't believe that Adams and the Buffalo Sabres are going to make that trade for the defenseman. Maybe it's a little early to trade Bo Byram. Alex Tuch, I would submit his name in the same conversation that I do with Byram and Cozens. And then, Quinn and Paterka get a little bit more intriguing, I suppose. When you look at the middle of the ice, both in what's coming and what's there, I think that's really why teams have zeroed in on the Buffalo Sabres, because they see the depth there. And, why not start with a Dylan Cozens, a piece that, there wouldn't be many teams in the league that wouldn't have called or wouldn't find a place for him. But, again, Adams remains in the position that, well, if somebody wants to blow the doors off, I've got to listen, but nobody has done that yet. And, it's not expected that that's going to happen in the next week, but you always have to keep that realm of possibility open. And that's exactly what Adams and the Buffalo Sabres are doing.
So here's the thing I keep coming back to, because we keep hearing Calgary linked to the Cozens shots. What is he? Because like 3 years ago, he has this breakout season. You're like, well, there he is. He's a right shot center. He's going to score 30 goals. He'll flirt with a point per game. But then you have 2 years in a row where it's just like a half point per game. Like, it's a very different story than Trevor Zegras, but it's not completely different, because both these guys flash at 21-20, and then it's like, where'd the production go? Like, it's not as if the Buffalo Sabres are like, we're really good, we're competitive, we have to shelter them, we need to win games. Like, they suck. Why is Cozens putting up points?
Well, you could say that about a number of Buffalo Sabres players. Jack Quinn was out of the lineup early in the year. It's just kind of been a spiraling operation for a long, long time. But, to get specific to Dylan Cozens, and I can't answer why he isn't more productive. I can't. But so that, I think, is exactly why it's a real tricky scenario to move that player. If you're Adams, you want top players coming back as part of a trade, or you're not willing to consider it. But then the team that's engaging and has interest in Dylan Cozens is looking at the potential upside that he provides, but are they 100% sure that there's a whole lot more offensive production in his game? And if the answer to that is yes, well, then make your best offer. In the next week, make your best offer and see if that is good enough. But if Adams doesn't back off, and I don't believe he will, in his ask of top players, is it really worth moving the pieces or a piece plus a top draft pick, a guy that you already know is a decent performer within your organization, for a guy that you're still a little bit unsure of? And I think that's why we continue to speculate on Dylan Cozens, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of traction there.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot, man. Like
30 goals, 68 points 2 years ago. It's a half point per game now. Like, what happened?
I'm kind of with you. I as we sit here and we're watching the Flames, and last night they don't get a goal on Vasilevsky. And it's like, well, Morgan Frost is an RFA. He's going to need a contract at the end of the year. And I think he's a good player. I'm not sure what he's got to play with out there. I feel like it's kind of the same in Buffalo. I think that Dylan Cozens would be a guy, not that he's going to erupt like maybe Jack Eichel did when he left, different players, but I just have a feeling that that's a player who's got some more to give if he's got more around him. That's, pretty simple to say, but I don't know that I worry about Dylan Cozens so much. I think there's more that he brings than just points. I think the points go up, and in the right environment becomes captain material.
And I think that, your voice is the majority of clubs that have inquired with the Buffalo Sabres thinking the same thing. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the Vancouver Canucks, any team that's in the market for a 1 or a 2 center still have Dylan Cozens ahead of some of the other names that we've speculated on. And I would include Braden Shen in that equation. And you've got Scott Laughton for the Philadelphia Flyers. And I think it's more because you believe in the upside of Cozens, and you sure like the birth certificate, right? You like the age, you like the fact that maybe he is just coming into his own, and you give him a little bit more slack in the rope, because everything that is the Buffalo Sabres that hasn't been realized into a team that is a contending playoff team, right? So you give the young player the benefit of the doubt. I just know that there are a number of clubs out there that continue to keep tabs on him, and that would be Calgary included. Calgary is at the top of the list from a media perspective, because guys like me and Pierre LeBrun and you guys continue to talk about it. We just feed the beast. Calgary, Dylan Cozens, Calgary, Dylan Cozens. But the Flames aren't alone. There's a wide number of teams that are interested.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.